All right, so you've probably heard blood called the river of life, right? And, that sounds nice and peaceful, but it's not the whole story. Honestly, it's less like a lazy river and more like a bustling, non-stop city. Think New York City, but flowing through your veins. It's chaotic, it's brilliant, and it's working 24/7 just to keep you alive. So today, let's take a tour.
So let me ask you this. You get a little paper cut, you see that one drop of blood, and you just grab a Band-Aid and forget about it. But have you ever, for a second, stopped to think about what's actually inside that one tiny drop? Well, it's so much more than just red liquid. That single drop is like a whole miniature world, just teeming with millions of specialized cells. You're looking at the main residence right now. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, all just floating around in a liquid called plasma. And every single one of them is a citizen with a very specific and very critical job to do.
So let's really dive into this city metaphor, because it works perfectly. In this massive metropolis that's flowing through your veins, you've got your delivery workers, you've got an emergency repair crew on standby, and you've got a full-on security force defending the city limits.
Okay, get this. When you actually break down what blood is made of, the numbers are kinda wild. More than half of it, a full 55%, is just this yellowish liquid called plasma. That's the highway system for our city. Then, almost all of the rest, a whopping 45%, is just one type of cell, the red blood cells. And that tiny little sliver left over, less than 1%, that's everything else. Your entire immune system and all the repair crews are crammed into that little space. Talk about efficiency.
So let's start meeting the citizens. And first up, we have to talk about the most numerous residents by a long shot, the red blood cells. You can think of them as the city's non-stop 24/7 oxygen delivery service. And trust me, without them, every other function in the city just grinds to a halt.
Their job is simple, but absolutely critical. These guys, officially called erythrocytes, are these tiny, flexible discs that are perfectly designed for one thing: grabbing oxygen from the lungs, dropping it off to every single cell in your body, and then hauling away the carbon dioxide trash. They are total workhorses. But they only live for about 120 days, so the city is constantly making new ones.
So how does the city know when it needs to hire more delivery drivers? Well, it's got this amazing feedback loop. Your kidneys basically act as the city's dispatch center. If they sense that oxygen levels are dipping, they send out a hormone called erythropoietin. That hormone is a direct message to your bone marrow, the city's main factory, and it says, hey, we need more red blood cells, and we need them now. But what happens if that factory can't keep up with demand? Or what if the delivery trucks themselves are kind of faulty? What happens when the city's most vital supply chain starts to break down?
Well, that's a condition you've probably heard of called anemia. In our city, this is a major logistics crisis. Oxygen deliveries are late, or maybe they're not carrying a full load. And the symptoms make total sense, right? If your city's businesses, your cells, aren't getting enough oxygen to power them, you're going to feel tired, you might look pale, and you'll get out of breath really easily. The whole city just slows down.
Okay, so that covers deliveries. Now let's switch gears. Imagine there's a breach in the city walls, something as simple as a paper cut. To you, it's tiny, but to the city, it's a code red emergency. It is time to call in the damage control crew. It's time to call in the platelets. The official name for this whole emergency response is hemostasis, and it is this beautifully coordinated, super high-speed process designed for one thing and one thing only: plug that leak before the city loses too much of its precious cargo.
And it all happens in 3 lightning-fast stages. First, the blood vessel itself clamps down tight. Second, the platelets race to the scene and form a temporary plug. And third, a much stronger, more durable clot comes in to make the final seal. Let's break down each step. So the very instant a blood vessel gets damaged, it automatically squeezes itself shut. This is the city's first line of defense. It's like immediately shutting down a street to limit the spill, buying the emergency crews a few precious seconds to get there. Next up, the platelets get the emergency call. These guys are the true first responders. They suddenly become super sticky, they rush to the breach, and they start clumping together to form a quick, temporary plug. Think of it like throwing a tarp over a hole in your roof during a storm. It's not a permanent fix, but it's fast and it makes a huge difference. But of course, a temporary plug just isn't going to cut it long term. So for the final, most important step, a protein called fibrin shows up. These fibrin strands are like biological rebar, weaving this incredibly strong mesh all over the platelet plug. And this is what creates a stable, durable blood clog that truly seals the wound shut. Now, creating that fibrin net isn't a simple one-and-done deal. No way. It's triggered by a stunningly complex chain reaction. You're looking at the map of it here, called the coagulation cascade. The best way to think of it is like a set of falling dominoes. One protein activates the next, which activates the next, in this super precise sequence. This whole complex system makes sure that a powerful clot only forms exactly where it's needed, preventing it from, accidentally causing traffic jams in healthy streets.
All right, we've talked about delivery and repair. But, every great city needs a security force, right? Something to protect its citizens from invaders like bacteria and viruses. Well, that is the job of the white blood cells. And this isn't just one type of security guard. Oh no. The city's security detail is a whole team of specialists. There are actually 5 main types of white blood cells, and each one has a very unique role in defending the city. We're talking everything from beat cops on patrol to elite special forces units.
So let's meet some of the key players. First, you've got neutrophils. They make up most of the force, and they're your first responders, swarming to an infection to literally eat bacteria. Then you have lymphocytes, who are like the special ops agents of the city, mounting these highly targeted immune attacks. And we can't forget monocytes. They're the heavy-duty cleanup crew, turning into huge cells called macrophages that just devour all the leftover debris and bigger invaders.
But this raises a question. How does the security force know who's a citizen and who's a hostile invader? Well, the city needs a universal ID system. And for your blood, that system is your blood type. It's all based on these molecular ID cards, called antigens, on the surface of your red blood cells. And this ID check can be quite literally a matter of life and death. This is especially true during pregnancy. It all comes down to one specific ID marker called the Rh factor. See, if an Rh-negative mother is carrying an Rh-positive baby, her city's security force might mistake the baby's blood for a dangerous foreign threat. And here's the really crucial part. During the first pregnancy, it's usually not a big deal. But her body, it learns. It develops antibodies. So it's during a second pregnancy with another Rh-positive baby that her now trained security force can actually cross the placenta and attack the fetus's own red blood cells. It's wild. Thankfully, modern medicine can totally prevent this now. But it is just a powerful example of how seriously the body takes this friend or foe identification. So there you have it, an entire city humming with activity. You've got a transport network delivering essential supplies, an emergency crew fixing any and all damage, and a highly sophisticated security force protecting the borders. And the amazing part? This isn't science fiction. This is all happening inside of you this very second. It really makes you think, doesn't it? We've just taken a quick tour of one incredible, complex system. So the question I want to leave you with is this. If your blood is a bustling city, what other hidden, complex worlds are thriving inside your body, working tirelessly to keep you going without you even being aware of them?